In this video, we will introduce timeline. This concept is very similar to video editor software such as Premiere. The only difference is that in VXLab, you can add multiple timelines and control its play status. The concept of time in VXLab is not necessarily linear, but rather very flexible. Let's start with a simple example. Remember our friend the snail on the branch? Now let's make it move along the branch. Rotate the image of snail and let it line up with the branch. When you select the snail image on Object Tree, you can add track to the picture. The tool is in Extension panel on the right-hand side. Track 1 becomes child object of the snail image. Now you can see Timeline panel at the bottom of the window. It should look familiar to you if you have used the video or audio editors. It is a 10-second timeline by default. Then let's add a keyframe to the track by clicking the Add icon on Timeline panel. Move the pointer to 10 seconds, then add another keyframe. Then move the snail up a bit. You can now see the dotted line on the stage. It shows the movement track of the snail. You can play it by clicking the play icon on Timeline panel and see if this is what you want. Right now, the snail moves really slow. So select track 1 and you can change the animation duration. Let's change it to 3 seconds. Though on the Timeline panel, it still shows 10 seconds, but when you play the animation, it actually takes 3 seconds. A common mistake for beginners to think is that the setting of this animation is done. Let's preview it. Now you see the snail is not moving at all. What's wrong? Please remember that you have to set the start time of the animation to when you want it to start. In this case, we can just turn on autoplay on track 1's property panel. You can also see there is a loop option. We can turn it on too. Now let's preview it again. You see the snail is moving, and this animation repeats automatically. We will learn how to use events to control the timeline in future videos. What if you want to create a curved path for the animation? Of course, you can still add a lot of keyframes to the timeline, but there is another faster way to do it. Let's see an example. We see that this angry bird is flying up and down. What we did was instead of adding a track to the object, we added path. It's the icon below track. After we add a path to the object, we can click the spots on the stage to create keyframes like this. These keyframes will be distributed evenly on the timeline. Then you can drag each one to adjust. Similarly, let's give it 3 seconds so that the bird flies faster. If you want to reuse the track or the path in other scenarios, you can save it as an effect. Effect is a preset animation in VXLab. In this case, click the Create Effect button on the Path property panel and save it. Next time, if you want to use it, you can find it on the Effect drop-down menu on the top of the editor.